Okay, so we're gonna continue reading the story. Mainly, he thought that for sisters that toddle, like for girls that toddle, meaning that they're taking their first steps. You know, babies when they start to grow up, they take their first baby steps. So for sisters of her age, Isabel Jane was a pretty good model. She was a good example of a sister. She clearly adored him. She liked him. She didn't have fleas. At dinner, she'd secretly eat up his peas. She would eat his peas because he didn't like to eat peas, so she would eat them instead. And sometimes, although he'd most hotly deny it, he wouldn't say that he liked to just sit there beside her in quiet. He likes to sit next to her, wrapped up in a blanket, watching TV, her head on his shoulder, her foot on his knee. As you can see here, they would sit next to each other, watch TV. He liked that. He sat and he thought and he stared at the rain. So he kept on thinking. When his time out was done, when he was done with the rest, he found Isabel Jane. He went to his sister. From the edge of the tub, she gave him a peek. We said that she was upset and she went to the bathroom and she started crying. So she gave him a quick look from the tub and he told her, "Hey, are we playing hide and go seek?" She was happy at once and ran into the hall. So when her brother told her, "Let's play hide and go seek," she was very happy, as she loved playing hide and go seek most of all. This is her best game. They took turns being it and counting to 10. They hid in the plants and the guinea pig pen. This is the guinea pig pen, and they hid in the plants. This is the places where they hid. And when he found Isabel Jane in her quilt, they decided a big blanket fort should be built. So looks like she hid in the quilt. This is the quilt, the cover of the bed. It's called the quilt. They decided to make a big blanket fort, as you can see here. Put the quilts together. Then the gloom made him think about dragons and spells. Now inside the quilt and the whole house, there's no electricity, the lights are off. There was a gloom, there was darkness. So it made him think about the dragons. You know, these are the dragons and spells. The spells are the magical words that are said. So Charlie became the great wizard Max Mouse. So he became a wizard. Wizard, by the way, is a person who makes magic. And Isabel Jane, who desired a role, magically changed to his faithful old troll. So as you can see here, they dressed as wizards. They started playing together between tracking down dragons and brewing up lizards and handling the day-to-day business of wizards. They started doing what wizards do, like forging his faithful old troll a new sword. Charlie McButton forgot to be bored, so he's no longer bored. He's playing with his sisters, dressing up as a wizard. He's making spells, thinking about dragons. Now the last two pages. At supper, they ate under real candlelight. Again, because there's no electricity, they are eating under real candlelight, under the candles. You know, when the power goes out, your mother would light out candles like these. The daytime had melted right into the night, and after they'd all been asleep for an hour. So, as we said, they ate supper. Supper is like the dinner they eat in the evening under the candles. And after they all were asleep for an hour, the world came alive with a big surge of power. So here the electricity is back. The lights are on, everything is working now. There is power. Oh, it's finally back, Charlie thought with a grin. So, finally, he'd be able to do the things that he wants to do. Tomorrow I'll wake up and I can plug in. So he can plug in all the devices that he used to play, like the computerized games, the gadgets, the handsets, all of these he'll be able to play with it back again. But another thought hit him he couldn't explain. I might also find dragons with Isabel. So he would also find dragons with his sister. He would spend time with his sister to not only play with his devices, he would also find some time with his sister. Let's quickly review the story. We talked about the main character, Charlie McButton. We said he's a person who likes technology. He has his own games, computerized games, where he battles creatures, and there's the gadgets and uh, bots and handsets. But then one day there's thunderstorm, which makes the power go out. When this happens, he freaks out and he's really upset. So he gets a gadget that he used to play with when he was younger, but unfortunately there is no battery in it. So he thinks of taking the battery that is plugged in his sister's doll, but then he feels bad about what he did because his sister would get upset. So he decided to make it up for her. So he played with her hide and seek, and they played wizards and such stuff. Now let's move on to your questions and answer them together. The first one was, what is the genre of Charlie McButton? We discussed this from the beginning of the story. We said, what is the genre? We said that it is a narrative poem. The second question is Charlie's reaction to the power going out believable? Do you think that he reacted in the right way? Well, yes, because most people get upset when the power goes out. Of course, when the power goes out of your house, you would be mad, you will get angry, you'll be upset about what happened because there are lots of things you won't be able to use. There will be no air conditioner, there will be no lights. So it's something uh, to get upset about. Number three, what did Charlie do with his sister's doll? We said that he plucked out the battery, he took the battery from the doll. If you go back to page 41, what does Charlie do with his sister to stop him from being bored? We said that he played hide and go seek with her. He plays hide and go seek with her. The last question, which is the most important one, what is the theme of the story? The theme is the most important message of the story. What is the theme? We said here that first Charlie had his own tech empire, and then it all fell down because the power went out. But he then realized that there are other things he should be doing, and it's not only spending time alone. There are other things that he can do to have fun, like playing with his sister. So this is what he realized. So Charlie realized there are other ways to have fun, like playing with his sister. This is the message of the story, that he can look for other ways to have fun rather than spend time alone and being in his own technology world.